have you ever felt overwhelmed because you just don't know who to trust? There's tons of planners. Maybe it's very difficult to find the difference between or to see the difference between all of them. In this episode, we'll look at how to find a financial planner that will work well with you. My name is Trey. I'm a financial planner with TC Wealth Management and Aviso Wealth. For more details or to send in your questions, check out the show notes, treybino.ca/podcast, or start with episodes 1 and 2. It's been a while since we recorded an episode.
I was just going to say, I'm like, do I feel rusty or what? Like, I don't know.
Maybe a little. I don't know.
It feels strange now. It's been over a month.
Yeah, it's been a while. But get back into it. So this episode is, a lot of people have found that it's difficult to find a financial planner that works well with them. So I kind of wanted to go through a few things of what people would be looking for and kind of get maybe your idea of what you would be looking for in a planner from a outside the industry point of view. The first few things I will say, if you're serious about finances, there is a few bare minimum things that I would want to work with a financial planner. What do you think some of those are?
CFP credentials, for sure.
So that's a certified financial planning designation. Some people call it the gold standard in Canada. I would refer to it as the floor of what I'm willing to work with. There are a lot of people out there that offer financial advice that have no business offering financial advice.
This is what I hate.
Yeah, typically they're going to be salespeople inside of banks and things like that.
Yeah,
it's just the advice is very geared either towards what the bank wants them to learn and to understand and to know, or it's geared towards meeting sales targets, which is just very different than what the type of advice that you actually want if you're serious about doing something significant with finances. And a lot of people don't realize it or realize that there's other options until it's too late. I don't want to say it's too late, but till you've already fell into that trap. A big dead giveaway is if you're working at an institution and you open up your statement and what you're invested in has said institution's name in it, probably a good indication that you want to look somewhere else.
Or at least like a little bit of a red flag, maybe.
Yeah. Well, I just can't think of an area where it's not. I would want to look somewhere else. You work, if you're an investors group and you open and it's just investors group mutual funds at 2.5%, person's doesn't have your best interests at heart, right? Like they might think they do, but they don't. But anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. So that's one of them, is the CFP is the bare minimum.
Yeah.
What else do you think I would have as?
Give me a hint. Is it a qualification?
Kind of. It's more of a.
Sorry, I keep kind of losing my voice. We're all sick right now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my goodness, we haven't done a podcast in so long, and yet here we are.
I wouldn't say it's a qualification. It's more of a licensing.
SIM.
No, not quite. I wouldn't work with somebody that was just insurance licensed.
IROC?
Is the name of a old regulator, yes. But you want to make sure
the Bank of Canada. Just kidding. I'm just throwing out random stuff.
No, you just want to make sure that the person that you're dealing with isn't just insurance licensed.
Right.
Because if all you have is a hammer, everything is a nail. So funnily enough, they will find insurance solutions. I've seen insurance solutions pitched for everything.
Yeah.
Kids' education,
insurance,
whole life policy, borrow against it. Great. No.
You should insure everything. You should insure your insurance. Is that a thing? I don't even know.
No, it's not. No. Yeah. Okay.
So be a CFP. Don't only be licensed in insurance, but if they are licensed in insurance as well, that's like another tool that they can use.
Yeah, absolutely. That's fine. It's just that there is a type of. Honestly, most of them will be weeded out by the CFP requirements, but there's companies out there that hire financial advisors en masse.
I know what they
licensed.
I know the company. I know the exact company.
There's multiple. There's a few of them, and they're very predatory. And they unfortunately, a lot of it is on people that lack financial literacy. So they prey on those people, and very bad. But
Yeah.
so that's what I'd say off the bat. Those two people out. Okay, so first thing that you need to understand is the type of expertise that you need as a client. Okay, that's a really important thing when you're looking for advisors. Just like every other industry, not every advisor is, they're not all made equal. They don't all share the same skill set. Depending on what you need should dictate what type of planner that you are working with.
Okay, wait, time out for a second. Is there like, okay, so let's say someone is actually looking right now or is considering looking for an advisor. How would they how would they start that search? If that makes sense. Like you're just going to go into Google and be
No,
like,
they start the search by figuring out what they need.
okay, so we're starting at that step.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, hey, I'm Joe Blow. I need financial advice. I know I'm struggling with something. What am I struggling with? Right? If I'm struggling with retirement planning, that's very different than if I'm struggling with exiting a business tax efficiently, right? Very different, very, very different skill sets. Almost every CFP that you run into will be proficient at basic retirement planning. So if you are the type of person that you're a salaried individual with like a defined contribution pension plan, so where you put in, the companies put in, you have a big lump sum, that's the majority of Canadians. You basically, if you go to a CFP, if you go to a CFP, you're probably going to be okay,
Yeah.
right? But then there's the other group of people that where it gets a lot more complicated. So understanding what you actually need is important. Okay. So, and I listed a few different, I said like 6 different categories or so. So the first one I would say is you're just starting out in life. Important thing about this category is this is the category that is shuttled into the branch level bank advice where
Well, that's what I was going to ask. Are you talking about like just starting out in life? Like I'm going to school or I just finished
yeah,
school and
so
I'm,
the people that put you on a trajectory, it's worth it if your parents are going to buy you one thing. It's worth it to book time with an actual planner because the where you start will be the trajectory that's the trajectory that you head down. The amount of people that I have met that they were put into, typical one is RSPs. You're told to put money away into RSPs when you're young, and they've been doing the same thing into a variable, like a high interest savings account type RSP, and they've been doing it for 15 years. And they've been doing it religiously for 15 years. It hasn't grown, it grows at 1% a year.
yeah.
It's a very different trajectory than if they had sat down with somebody that actually was experienced enough to push them where they needed to be pushed to push them onto the right trajectory, right? And then you could have left it for 15 years and maybe it wouldn't be perfect, but at least you're on the right trajectory,
Yes.
right? So I would say, even though I know that, because that's the group of people that will kind of get brushed off by, unfortunately, the vast majority of planners, especially depending on how they if they don't have an hourly service or anything like that. It's frankly not worth the time. Like
Yeah, that's what
it's
I
the
was going to
business,
say.
right? Like it's unfortunately not worth the time for a lot of them to do the work. So therefore, if they don't have an hourly, just to be able to pay them, which is why I think everybody should do at least some hourly work, just so people have an option.
Yeah.
Because I get the business side of things, but if somebody just wants to cover their time, there's a lot of value that as a experienced planner you can give to somebody in an hour, 2 hours of your time. You can set them on the right course and give them hundreds of thousands of dollars more in their life just by spending that time with them. So
Yeah.
starting out is first category. Second category is salaried people, typical defined contribution plan. Third, salaried person with a defined benefit pension plan. So that's the one where it is guaranteed for life.
Yeah.
You you handle those two things very differently.
That
So
was the teacher one,
teachers are
right?
like that. There's a lot of federal pensions that are like that. There's lots
Yeah.
that are different like that, but it is a different. The way that you plan around it for retirement is different. Okay, and there are some pitfalls there. So I would say if you're working with a planner that doesn't have any experience with that, that is an area that you'd want to work with somebody that has experience with that type of pension. But again, most CFPs, if you're dealing with somebody that's 10 years into their career or so, will get that experience. Somehow you should be pretty safe.
Yeah.
Uh, Salaried with a corporation. So this would be like a lawyer or like an accountant where you're buying into a firm. So you have a salary and then you have a corporation on the side. Maybe you've bought shares or you're going down that path. This is where the complexity starts to rack up very quickly. This is the point where you definitely want to be making sure you're working with somebody that has experience in this area and can demonstrate their experience in this area. Sole proprietors, starting a business.
Yeah.
Again, very different, very cool tax rules and stuff that you can apply.
Cool.
If you get
Sorry, just had to.
if you get a good planner during this phase of your life, it can snowball way beyond a lot of others because of the tax side of being a sole proprietor.
So if you're starting a business and you're looking for a financial planner, that could also mean the difference between like saving a lot of money basically or earning a lot of money.
Yeah, or paying a lot more money in taxes and things like that.
I bet everyone paused there. Like,
taxes. Yeah, but exactly. But that's the difference. This is where you start to see, I would say you're now in the area that the majority of typical financial planners are out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
Okay, then you have a business owner. So you own a corporation, everything runs through the corporation, your business, you have the full choice about how much dividends, salary, all of that stuff that you take. Definitely outside of most people's, most advisors' comfort zone. So I'd say for the first few, you're probably okay with just a CFP that has some experience. After that, you need to be vetting them a lot more carefully.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then step one is, okay, who am I in those categories sort of thing?
Yeah.
Okay. Keep going because I'm about to ask questions and you're gonna be like, okay, just hang on because I love to jump ahead.
Okay, step two, once you kind of realize who your category is you should ask friends and family for their opinions for sure. I would say you should now go and interview no more than 5. The issue with dealing, unless you're very confident with personal finances yourself, everything starts to sound the same and kind of merges.
Yeah.
So,
and you're trying to remember what this guy said.
yeah,
Does that make sense to this thing? And
all of that stuff, right? And it's just, it's very difficult to do. I would also, you should probably understand the tiers of wealth management and financial planning as well. That if you have over $500,000, it opens up a lot more doors for firms that will be willing to take you on as a client.
Okay, so wait, pause. What does that mean exactly?
So if you have over $500,000 in assets to invest,
right?
So you're either like investable assets.
So that's not like your house and you gotta have the cash.
The cash, yeah.
To invest.
It opens up a lot more doors for sure because now you're at the point that most experienced advisors are now past to that point of their minimum is around that range. A lot of very good firms around the country, that's their minimum. Unfortunately, it's just very difficult to run a practice with the amount of work that goes into each client with less than that. So either it's going to be very expensive or you're looking to be very good friends with the person. Let me take you on.
All of a sudden your DMs are like Filling up. Hey,
No,
friend.
no.
My bestie, Trey.
Yeah. And then again, another now over like $1 to $1.5 million. Again, there's very few firms that you couldn't work with.
Yeah.
Over 10, you're looking at private family offices and things like that. Again, there's pros and cons to all of it, but
that kind of it's yeah, it probably goes both ways because once you have that much in assets, everybody wants you to be their client.
mhm.
Like all the advisors are like, "Oh yeah, I'll take you on, no problem."
But then it
But
gets even
then
more careful. The way that you vet them would have to adjust for that.
you'd have to take on a lot more of that like research and knowing all that stuff.
But you also have access. So at that point, you could be asking other professionals for their recommendations.
That's true, yeah. That's true.
Right. So there's pros and cons to it all, but
And I guess people in your like I almost said industry, but I mean like your I'm going to say this and I hate the word because it makes me sound like so jargony, but I'm like in your orbit, like your social. I know. Oh, I'm cringing. Ew. Don't hold that one against me.
what you gonna say? You have to finish this.
Just
Go
if
on now.
they, like if they're in your social class, like you're at an event and something.
Social club.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't have $10 million of investable assets right now, but I don't know what they call it. They're
Yeah,
like, oh, my friend Bill Gates. Like, I don't
Bill
know.
Gates. 10, your idea
Okay,
of money
I'm
is a
like,
little
where's
off.
the shovel?
Yeah, he has a little bit more than $10 million.
Let's
$10
just,
million is like I had a big farm. Like I had a big farm, I had a big business and sold it. Right? Like it's a more money than the average person would ever
yeah.
spend.
It's
for sure.
funny because you're probably like, it is a lot of money, but then you're like, but I also know a few people who have that money, you know, like it's,
And they're normal people, right?
yeah,
It's not a I don't know. That's a different topic anyway.
yeah.
So yeah, ask around. But when you're interviewing people, there are a few things that you want to know. I would strongly recommend that you get them to provide clients or ask them to have clients reach out to them to talk to them, talk to existing clients.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Um,
It does make sense.
yeah,
But it would just be
absolutely.
kind of a strange, like, yeah, you'd have to get their permission, like you said,
Yeah, you
right?
can't just hand out. I can't. But I've had people hand down their information. No,
You're like,
I
here's
just
their
hand down their
phone
information.
number.
But I've had people that they've been looking for an advisor. They've been interviewing various firms.
Yeah.
And one of the things, yeah, it's a very good thing for. Then I'll go to the said clients. They'll be like, "Do you have any clients that are in a similar type of situation to me?" I'll say yes. I'll go talk to said clients and ask their permission to share information, and then they can have that conversation, right? And just
Mhm.
right. I do think that is a
Oh, yeah.
good way to approach it
It's
because
almost like a job interview sort of thing where you're like, what are your references, right?
yeah,
But
basically,
your clients don't really have any, they would be totally brutally honest and you'd never be, like, you wouldn't know.
right?
You'd never be the wiser. So,
Yeah,
yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I think it's a really good idea to do. The other thing that I would recommend you do is understand what they stand for. So this is something that
When you say the advisor
the
you're looking
advisor.
for,
So this is something that is really difficult to explain if you have very low financial literacy, but you've had the saying, "There's more than one way to skin a cat." Um,
made that
I
up,
don't
by the
know,
way, but
but it's also true when it comes to financial planning, and you need to pick somebody that has very similar values to what you have.
I almost want to be like, I know a way that you could easily do that if the world just operated the way I want it to work. Do you know what I'm thinking?
You're thinking of MBTI or something like that, aren't you?
Yeah, well, yes.
I would say more than that. I would say because there's so many different ways to invest, for instance.
Yeah.
Right. So, for instance, for me, I'm very heavily about um, the data. Like, what does the numbers say? We make good, statistically high chance decisions, right? And we focus on other areas that where we can add a ton of value. One of them isn't trying to pick stocks and trying to guess what the market is doing. But we have so much data that we know we have very, very good chance of being right if we do said path. And the risk of being wrong on other said paths, while they might look like they might be better off in the short term, over the long term, it is unlikely to be the case. So I have a very strict investment philosophy. If you were talking to and interviewing advisors and things like that, and they cannot tell you what their investment philosophy is, it's a red flag for me. If they cannot tell you how they run a retirement, if that's what you're there for, it's a red flag for me. They should be able to answer those type of questions and explain what their investment philosophy, what their planning philosophy is, right?
So what would you recommend? Like, I'm just trying to make it, I'm thinking about it from a listener point of view, of course. How would you recommend the steps? So you're like, okay, I'm a, sorry, again. I'm a salaried individual. I have 300K in investable assets. How is there, like, I guess, is there a way to search up like a list of CFPs in your area or
Yeah,
whatever?
so you can go to the CFP website.
Okay.
So FP Canada.
Because you don't want to just start Googling. And now I'm thinking, oh, I guess there is like ChatGPT, but you'd have to vet that after, but you could put your criteria in and see what it spits out.
Yeah. But FP Canada, there's a planner directory, is what it's called.
Okay.
And then you can pick so CFP certification. There's two. There's QAFP and CFP. QAFP is like the younger brother certification to the CFP. So it's like the intermediate CFP. So why would you?
Why want that when you could have
Yeah,
have it all?
yeah, I don't know why you'd.
Someone went through all that work to be like subpar. That sounds, maybe that's really offensive. I don't know.
I get it. It's your money, right? Ultimately, the decisions that this advisor says and how they steer you is going to determine whether you meet your goals or not. Like, that is a big responsibility. So I do get the whole, you need, like, there are people that need to grow in the industry and things like that. And ultimately, if you're not able to, if you don't have big enough goals or enough complexity to work with somebody that has been in the industry for 30 plus years or whatever it is that's perfect for your scenario, there needs to be an education program, and that's what the QAFP is. They're on the path to.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna stop it.
They're like, done. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so looking at Saskatoon, for instance, there's tons.
There's a lot of pages. Oh.
Well, this is in Saskatchewan. This is like Alberta and all sorts. But like the first.
Oh, so it's in Canada?
Yeah.
Not Sask.
I think I put 50 plus kilometers away from Saskatoon. Let's change that to 5. Much better.
Still quite a few, though.
Still quite a few. Yeah.
Either way, okay, so you'd start. You could look there, then okay, these guys are definitely certified.
Yeah, they have their CFP. You could look at, you could Google it. You could look online, ask friends, go to your bank, right, and ask them to talk to people. Like, you can find these type of individuals almost everywhere. Like, it's not difficult to find them.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people will be like, yeah, this is basic. Like, I don't, but I'm just trying to give like little tips for some people who might be, wanting that, I guess. I'm just thinking of it from that point of view. So then, okay, you've got a handful of people that you're kind of thinking of.
Yeah. Then, so you've looked them up, you've looked at their socials, you've looked at
their website,
you've done your
read the Google reviews and all that.
Yeah. So you're like, okay, I want to reach out to this individual.
You book like the 15-minute or whatever.
The initial
intro.
call, yeah, intro call.
And what do you, okay, so, but then this is the part where I was going to stop you. So, what do you ask them? Are there specific types of questions that you would recommend asking?
Yeah. So ask them what the ones I just mentioned. So ask them, you should probably at this point know if they have a CFP, but ask them that. Ask them how they're licensed. Ask them what the typical people that they work with is. And I would ask them this information before you share information about exactly who you are and what you're looking for.
So,
Right.
kind of start, maybe a tip would be to kind of, you're in control of the call. So, they might try to be like, oh, hi, thanks for booking this 15-minute call. Like, I'm going to start by getting some information. I'm totally just making this up, by the way. I'm just thinking that would
Yeah.
be the way it would go. And you almost have to kind of flip it around.
Just start interviewing, right? You're just
Yeah,
interviewing.
just
I would
say
let
like,
them know that you're looking for an advisor and
yeah, I'm interviewing lots of advisors and lots. I'm interviewing advisors to try to find somebody who would be a good fit for me. I just have a couple of questions before we.
ask them what their fee structure is. Ask them
Yeah.
those basic stuff.
So fees. Oh, and then you said investment philosophy as well.
Yeah, ask them what their investment philosophy is. Ask
And
them what their typical client is that they work with,
that's a good one. Yeah.
because you want that type of information. They are not going to, if you then ask for references, they're not going to give references at that point. That'd be insane.
Why?
So, because imagine, like, if I gave references to everybody that I spoke to about my services, it would be too much. I'd be asking because it would be my best clients that
Your clients would just be on the phone.
on the phone all the time, talking about trades,
Your hype man.
what it's like to work with me now. So it would be, I would provide references after we went through the second or third meeting, right, where they're, yeah, like we've actually met, because the advisors, they will need all of your information, right? At some point you will have to provide your tax returns, you'll have to provide all your statements. They'll need a good idea of your whole financial picture. They'll talk about goals, kind of to get a better idea of exactly what you need, exactly how they can help. And a good advisor will also tell you if you're not the right fit for them.
Yeah.
Because that's the case. That's where it's a case of, but they might be able to help you find somebody that is.
That's what I was going to say. Like maybe it doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong. It just means like,
it's just like you
oh,
don't.
this is not my skill set, or I know someone who specializes in this area.
Absolutely right. And people often, like, they might get a little hurt being like, okay, I'm not good enough or something like that. That's not the case at all. It's just that you wouldn't, if you was a foot surgeon, you could work on hands. I'm sure you could, but the area that you work on is feet. So you do all the feet surgeries, and somebody else can do all the hand surgeries, right? Like, doesn't mean that you couldn't do the job. It's just, it's going to be better for everybody if I stick to feet and I find you a hand surgeon that I trust, right?
Yeah.
Because a lot of advisors, we know a lot of other advisors, right? And especially in my circle, just with, so I'm also part of an organization called FPAC, which is like a financial planning association in Canada, where basically to join you have to sign a fiduciary pledge, right?
Okay, yes, sorry. I did want to mention that as another, like, is that something you would recommend?
Absolutely.
So, and what is a fiduciary?
So I would recommend people actually start with FPAC. If you Google it, it's FPAC Canada, yeah. And they have a directory on there, and it's basically, they're all very, very likely going to be CFPs, like certified financial planners, but they've signed on to be held to a higher standard. So fiduciary duty is basically they are promising to put the client's interests above everything else. So that if no matter what, so even if it's their own company or like their company is being pushed towards to be using certain things or whatever it is, like if you go to, I feel like I'm picking on Investors Group a little bit much here, but if you go to Investors Group, Investors Group is going to want you to be buying Investors Group mutual funds because that's what they train their advisors to do, and they tell them that it's the best thing ever. And it's not until, for some advisors, not until they get out of that world do they realize that they were being misled. So it's not necessarily just about it's not like the advisors are bad people. It's just sometimes the company does a really good job and has lots and lots of years of experience kind of pushing their advisors down said route.
Yeah.
If they are part of FPAC, I can guarantee you that their world is bigger than just the organization that they're part of, because
Right.
they're getting, like, it's very dedicated to education, so improving the quality of financial planning. We do um, a lot of talking with the governments for regulatory changes and things like that. It's a great organization. That is somewhere that I would say, yes, would be a great place to start with when you're looking for a financial planner, just
Hmm.
because of the elevated standard
Yeah.
that you're dealing with.
Because I just want to say, as an advisor, you have to opt into that,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So that gives you a really good idea of that advisor's, like, what did you call it? You said something earlier. Basically, their values,
Yeah.
their morals and values. Why would why would someone go through all that trouble to opt in to sign this
But it's not just
oath?
that. There's a bunch of education there. It's like it's a
They're putting that.
community of it's a community of advisors that, instead
Yeah.
of, if I need help with something, like I come across an issue that I have never seen before, that's where I'm going, right?
Yeah.
And I get the ability to ask the thousands of other advisors across Canada, hey, who has dealt with this scenario?
That's cool. Yeah.
Right. And when I was talking about, like, there's a hand specialist or a foot specialist and things like that, there is specialists there that deals purely with
Like the thumb on the hand.
yeah,
The
basically.
thumb
It's like,
fingernail
if
on.
I have a question about US tax treaty and Canadian and US tax treaty, I know exactly who I'm going to go to, because it's what she does every single day of that's her career, is that. So battery's died as well. So yeah, anyway,
We tried.
we tried. Yeah. So what was I saying?
U.S. trade girl. She does that every day.
Yeah, so sorry. So you find the person, you then ask them these questions, you interview, I would say no more than five. Like, I'd even say five is probably too many, like 3 to 5 people,
Yeah.
and you pick one and you listen to them, because you are
What?
adopting. That's why it's an important decision to make, because you are basically adopting their way of doing things.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, if you are the one client that they have that wants to do things a different way, you are the client that's going to get forgotten about.
You're gonna get booted.
It's
Maybe.
just, well, or you're gonna get subpar results,
Yeah.
because it's not how the advisor is probably investing their own money. It's not how the advisor is recommending their mother invest their money,
Yeah.
right? And if that advisor has 100 households and 99 of them are invested one way, and you're invested this way, or your planning is slightly different in this way, you're the one that they're not going to spend the time on, because of everything. So it is an important decision. Don't feel bad if the advisor is saying it's not a good fit. You will find a good. There is somebody for you, I promise you.
Yeah.
And the last thing you want is to be the smallest client for an advisor. It's the last thing that you want. You want the advisor to be working with other people like you, so that they're in the world of your problems. If you're a farmer and you're the only farming client that this advisor has, they're not going to know the issues that are coming up with farmers,
Yeah.
because when they're meeting with all their other clients, they're not talking about farming issues. They're
Yeah.
talking about medical issues in the hospital, or whatever it is. So
Yeah.
you want somebody that is working with other people like you.
I feel like sometimes clients or people want to feel special and unique, but in this
It's
situation,
not what you want.
it is not what you
The
want.
world
You
of
want to be the same as everybody else they're
Yeah,
working
the
with.
world of personal finance is so big that it is impossible for me to know everything about every area.
Hmm.
It's just not, it's not feasible, it's not possible. But there are certain areas that I know a lot about. And it's like, if that individual is operating in those areas, very little, if anything, will slip through the cracks.
Yeah.
But when it's an area that I know absolutely nothing about, or it's very possible that it could, right? Like, for example, I don't have any Ontario doctors. I don't have a clue what's going on with Ontario doctors right now. I don't have a clue. I don't know what they're dealing with on their how their personal plans at work is changing. I don't know what the provincial government is doing about health. I know nothing about it. I don't care to know about it, right? So if you're an Ontario doctor listening to this, I am not your guy.
Yeah.
I am not your guy at all.
But maybe you know someone.
I do know somebody. Yes,
Yeah,
I
there you
can
go.
I can point you in the right direction on the person that would be your person for that,
Yeah.
right? So just find the person that is right for you. That being said, if you are an engineer in
That's your
Saskatchewan,
person.
that's my
And
person.
that's why I made that small little comment that no one probably picked up on about MBTI. But I don't like saying MBTI. Like, to know how people think and make decisions is a better way to put it. Because once you know how someone thinks and makes decisions, you can categorize them easier,
We don't belong in a box.
and everybody can fit into a box, a special and individually unique box.
That's a big box of lots of little boxes. Yeah.
I won't go down that road.
No,
This isn't the MBTI Sears podcast.
absolutely not.
Link below. Just kidding. Sorry.
Okay. So yeah. So once you find out and pick the person and work with the person, basically. There is something else that you should understand as well, and that is this will set advisors into very different boxes, and that's what they are optimizing for.
Okay.
There's a very different way that you approach retirement planning to you approaching wealth creation, right? It is two very different. We've spoken about this kind of before, but a planner that spends their entire time trying to have their clients not run out of money in retirement, which is great.
Okay.
If you
I was going
are
to say, I'm like, is that a bad thing?
no, right? Like, why would that be a bad thing? It's a bad thing if the chance of you running out of money in retirement is extremely low.
Yeah. Okay. That's what
Because
I was thinking.
now they're making decisions from a lens of, okay, well, dying with more money is better. Make the conservative option. Pick the option that is still gonna reduce the risk of me running out of money. Well, if you have enough that's a very small outcome, other things become really important. Charitable giving becomes really important. Tax planning becomes really important. There are other things outside of, hey, let me not run out of money. That is really important. But you will never, if the advisor doesn't spend their time there, just like everything else, you will be left behind. They will miss stuff because that's not what they are doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the other thing that I said I wanted to say was really important for you to find out what that advisor is planning around, what they're optimizing for. And as always, there are plenty of advisors out there that are looking for clients that have very different skill sets. And it's like if you find the advisor for your skill set, it is worth it for you to do it. And honestly, if you're even working with somebody, oh man,
I know. I'm like, I can see the look in your eyes where you're like, okay,
if you're working with somebody and you like the individual, but you think that it's not quite the right advisor for you, talk to them about it, right? Like, it's not, especially for like successful advisors and things like that. It's not that big of a deal. It's like I want what's best for my clients. If there is any reason that they don't think I am the right fit, I will work with you to find the right fit for you. Right?
Yeah.
It's when I inherited some clients from an advisor that was retiring, and that's what I said to every single one of them. Like my first meeting with them was like, I am not the right advisor for everybody. My promise to you is that I will not take it personally if you don't think I'm the right advisor for you. I'm very strict. This is my investment philosophy. This is the way that I'm going to push you to invest. I've laid it out. This is what I work like. If you do not want to opt into this, that is absolutely fine. I will personally find you another advisor that will be more what you're looking for.
Yeah. whatever that is.
Whatever that is, right? It's not, I would much rather, because everybody gets a much, much, much better experience if everybody's on the same page, right?
Yeah.
And there's thousands, there's hundreds of thousands of people, thousands of advisors. There's somebody for everybody. So yeah, that's what I do. Make sense?
Yep, I think so. I think we covered it all.
Great.
Perfect.
Well, see you in the next one then.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Plain English Finance Podcast. Trey Bino, Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Investment Manager, is a financial planner with TC Wealth Management and Aviso Wealth. You should always consult with your financial, legal, and tax advisors before making changes. This podcast is provided as a general source of information and should not be considered personal investment advice or solicitation to buy or sell any securities. The views expressed are those of the individual and are not necessarily those of Aviso Financial Inc. Mutual funds and other securities are offered through Aviso Wealth, a division of Aviso Financial Inc.